have you done?
I'm simply cleaning up the mess.
She was working 4 jobs, sleeping 2 hours a night, just to keep her husband out of prison. But one night, she walked past a bar and heard him laughing. He called her his personal slave, and that was the last night she cried for him. Maria Torres had hands that told her whole story, cracked, rough, and tired. She was only 32. But life had aged her beyond her years. When her husband, Derek, fell deep into debt, she didn't run. She worked. She took every shift she could find, cleaning offices at night, waitressing in the morning, caring for the elderly on weekends, and sewing clothes during every spare hour in between. She told herself it was love. That marriage meant sacrifice. That one day, Derek would change, but love, she would learn, is not about how much pain you can survive. It's about how much respect you refuse to lose. Derek had been charming once, the kind of man who could turn a lie into poetry. He had dreams, plans, promises, and debts he never mentioned until it was too late. By the time Maria found out, the collectors were already at their door. He swore he'd fix it. He never did. Instead, he gambled more, borrowed more, and blamed her for not earning enough. So she worked harder. 4 jobs, 7 days a week. No rest, no joy, no voice. She told herself this was temporary, that her love would one day pay off. But one night, she learned what her sacrifice truly meant to him. It was past midnight. Maria had just finished cleaning her last office of the day. Her back ached, her hands stung from bleach, and her body screamed for rest. She decided to take a shortcut home, down the same street where Derek usually hung out with his friends. That's when she heard it. Laughter. Deep, careless, ugly laughter, coming from the open doors of a bar and among the voices. One sound froze her heart. She stepped closer, staying behind the cracked brick wall. Inside, Derek was sitting at the bar, a beer in one hand, surrounded by his drinking buddies. He was laughing so loud the bartender shook her head. "Man, you got it made," one of them said. "4 jobs? For you? How'd you pull that off?" Derek smirked, leaning back. "Easy," he said. "I married a woman who doesn't know. She's my personal slave." The table erupted in laughter. Maria's world went silent. Her mind didn't process the words. At first, just the tone, the mockery, the pride. The man she had bled for, starved for, broken herself for, was laughing about it. She gripped the corner of the wall to steady herself. Her knees trembled. But her face went cold, and for the first time in years, she didn't cry. She just whispered. No more. Maria didn't go home that night. She walked for hours, her mind burning with memories. Every insult, every dismissal, every "you owe me." She realized she hadn't been saving her marriage. She'd been serving a master. By dawn, she'd made her choice. She went home, packed her few clothes, took her sewing machine, the one thing she truly owned, and left. No notes, no tears, no goodbye. When Derek woke up and found her gone, he didn't panic. He called her phone once, then shrugged. "She'll come back," he said to himself. "She always does, but this time." She did single quotes Maria moved 2 cities away and started over. She worked for a small tailor shop, quiet and humble. But she was good, so good that customers started asking for her by name. Within a year, she opened her own shop. "Maria's Hands," the sign read. Every stitch, every hem, every design carried her pain and her pride. She became known not just for her skill, but for her story, though no one knew the full truth. At night, when she locked the shop, she'd look at her reflection and whisper, "You're not a slave anymore." 3 years later, on a busy afternoon, the bell above her shop door rang. When she looked up, her smile froze. It was Derek. He looked thinner, older, broken. He walked in with the same crook charm, pretending nothing had changed. "Maria," he said softly, "you look good." I heard about the shop. She said nothing, just watched him struggle for words. I made mistakes, he continued. I was stupid. But I came to tell you. I'm sorry. I need help. They're after me again. Maria looked at him. This man who once called her his slave and felt nothing but peace. She reached into the drawer, pulled out an envelope, and placed it on the counter. He opened it, expecting money. Inside was a single piece of paper. His divorce papers. Signed, sealed, final dot. He looked up, angry. You can't do this to me. Her voice was calm. You did it to yourself years ago. I just stopped pretending I didn't notice. He slammed his hand on the counter. You wouldn't have anything without me. He smiled faintly. No, Derek, I have everything because I finally left you. He stared at her for a long moment, then walked out, and for the first time in her life, Maria didn't look back. Asterisk months later, a journalist who had once been a customer interviewed her for a local business column. He asked her what success meant to her. Maria thought for a moment and said quietly, it means never letting the people who use you decide your worth. The quote spread. Online. People began to recognize her story as one of strength, a woman who rebuilt her life with her own hands. But she didn't care about fame. All she cared about was peace, the kind that comes from knowing you owe nothing to anyone who ever called you less. One evening, Maria closed her shop and looked through her old sketchbook, the one she'd carry from job to job. Inside were designs she'd never had time to make, dreams she buried under exhaustion. She smiled, whispering, you gave him everything. Now, give something to yourself. The next morning, she started her new collection, a line called Freedom Wears Fabric. Every dress, every thread, every label carried a message, made by the hands of a woman who refused to be owned. Some people mistake kindness for weakness. They think loyalty is permission to take advantage. But when a kind heart finally learns its worth, nothing can enslave it. Again, Maria's story is not about revenge. It's about freedom, the kind you earn when you stop waiting for apologies and start writing your own ending. If this story touched your heart, comment where you're watching from, and remember, the moment you stop serving someone else's pride, your life begins.